Welcome to Jump Cuts. I am your main host and master of ceremony, Tanner Richard Kraft. I am joined today by, introduce yourself.
I'm Tim M. Sullivan.
That's right. You might know us best for our weekly movie podcast where we discuss a movie every week. But this show's a little different. This show is more of a continuation of my college radio show where I discussed not a specific movie. I discussed the latest in movie news. I am joined by Tim, obviously. Tim, did you ever come on to my college show? I can't remember. I know we were friends then. I can't remember if I ever got you on.
I don't think I was aware of Jump Cuts until after I graduated.
Oh, interesting. That's fair. That's fair. That is 100% fair. I remember you and I saw the movie Joker right after I did one of my shows. That was a good time.
Yeah.
That movie sucks.
It's not great.
Not a great movie, but this is hopefully going to be a great show. We're doing this live on Twitch. If someone in the chat says something interesting, maybe I'll acknowledge it. We're going to be streaming this live on weekends, hopefully every other week, with the VOD of it to be uploaded to YouTube, Spotify, etc. on Monday mornings. So, Tim, I guess, what more is there to do other than, I suppose we'll just get right into the news.
Movies.
Yes, and Ethan, I do see you in the chat. He just said something interesting as a message. I'm just letting him know that I see him. Okay.
We see you, we acknowledge you.
So, the first bit of stuff we're going to talk about, and I kind of picked this as our top of the line subject because, Tim, I know this is something you care about. Are you wearing a shirt related to that? No, that's not what I think it is. No,
it's just a shirt.
I thought it was Knuckles for a second, like with like weird coloring on him. It's not. The Sonic 3 trailer came out.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a movie. I know you and we are both very excited for Sonic 3. We discussed the last Sonic movie on movie night. We are all big fans of that one, and I'm sure we're all very excited for this one, Tim. You said you plan to rent out a theater so we can watch it privately. Tim, I haven't actually gotten your thoughts on the trailer yet. So what a better time than now, live here on Jump Cuts. What did you think of the Sonic 3 trailer?
So, yeah, the Sonic 3 trailer is something we've been waiting a long time for. Like, I remember seeing on Twitter people being like, man, we're like 3 months out and still no Sonic 3 trailer. So, was starting to get a little worried, I'll be honest. But I was definitely excited for it when it came out. And I do have a couple things, like, obviously, like, I had to, like, you know, calm myself down, like, just like it's probably not gonna be like a straight up Sonic Adventure 2 adaptation. Yeah, obviously the tone from the first couple movies hasn't changed drastically, but it does seem like it's changed enough that, like, I think this is gonna, like, take itself just seriously enough, which is probably the right call for it. And, like, I do have a couple things. Like, I do kind of wish Amy and Rouge were in it. Like, it's not a deal breaker.
They could be.
It could be, and it's not a deal breaker if they're not, but I just would like to see them in the movies. Especially Rouge for this movie. But I don't know how I feel about, like, Dr. Eggman not, like, being on Shadow's side. I'm in for, like, them joining forces with Dr. Eggman to face off against Shadow. Ultimately, if it ends up culminating in Shadow having to join forces with Sonic to fight some machine or monstrosity created by Gerald, then the movie of the year.
I do like that Gerald is being played by Jim Carrey. That's good.
That is a good bit.
It's a good bit.
I'm again not entirely sure how I feel about Gerald being alive, because him being dead was such like a huge aspect of the plot of the games. But I'll see how they do it. I'll see what it is, what they're going for.
I gotta be honest, I haven't played Sonic Adventure 2 in like over 10 years. I do not remember the plot very well. For some reason, the part of my brain that would remember the plot of Sonic Adventure 2 is instead occupied by remembering all the different alternate endings to Shadow the Hedgehog.
I'm going to destroy this damn planet.
Where's that damn fourth Chaos Emerald? Which is unfortunate. I'm very excited for Sonic 3. Thought the trailer looked great. I'm kind of echoing all your sentiments. I'm okay with them doing something different. Obviously, as long as they follow the heart of the story, that's what I care about. I don't need them to follow beat for beat because it's its own thing. It's its own adaptation. And I thought Sonic 2 kind of really got it kind of classically clear. Like the heart of it was correct.
Sonic Adventure 2 is kind of a hard thing to like really recapture. It's sort of a lightning in a bottle because they made that game like rent was due, because it was.
It was. I only have a few requirements for this one. One, I need to hear Live and Learn. Yeah, that's a given.
Which they've said that will be in the movie.
Oh, they have.
And like they do have the like orchestral cover in the trailers. I hope it will be like the original version playing. At least if it's even in just at the beginning of the credits, I'll be happy.
Yeah,
like the
I'll be happy. But if it plays during the climax, Tim, I'm turning into a goddamn animal. I will turn into an animal in that theater. That'll be my everything. But speaking of things that are going to turn me into an animal during Sonic 3, I need to see that 11-year-old get shot to death.
Maria!
I need to see Maria be murdered. Ethan's in the chat saying a tanimal, if you will. Yes, I am going to turn into a tanimal. Ethan also brings up an interesting point when he says, I presume they might be setting up something to get rid of Eggman since his contract will be up. That makes sense. From what I understand, Jim Carrey also just wants to retire from acting entirely. Though I also think it's very funny imagining Jim Carrey's like, you know what? Fuck acting. I'm done with it. Except for Sonic.
Yeah, Sonic 3 is Jim Carrey's magnum opus.
It's his Phantom Thread. What Daniel Day-Lewis is the Phantom Thread, Sonic the Hedgehog 3 will be to Jim Carrey.
There we go.
Yeah, I'm really into the trailer. I'm into the trailer. I think it looks great. Keanu Reeves as Shadow. Now, from what I understand, the trailer is actually what officially confirmed that. I guess there was never like a press statement. It was just like rumored.
There was like a leak or something, and people kind of ran with it. But that is also another thing that kind of worried me when that happened, and then they weren't really saying anything about it, and they weren't releasing any trailers or anything. So just kind of them just going, fuck, we need to get Keanu Reeves. It's a non-negotiable at this point.
Now the people need Keanu. Yeah, I'm a fan of Keanu as Shadow. I love Keanu, obviously. He's great. I love Keanu.
Yeah, it was like I was clamoring for Keanu to get Shadow. Like there were a couple people that could have gotten him and it would have been cool. Like Keanu was at the top of the list, but like Robert Pattinson was up there too. I kind of wanted Pedro Pascal to play him.
I would have been into that.
Especially like early on, because like Sonic 2 came out right when I had started dating Cody and before I brainwashed her into liking Sonic. So I was like, if Pedro Pascal plays Shadow, then you'll have to care about this movie.
Sundown McMoon Ethan brings up a good point in the chat. Do wish they had gotten a voice actor, but a stunt casting Keanu's a fine pick. I generally agree with that. I think in a perfect world, they would have just gotten the guy from the games.
Yeah, like I do wish they would do that more. Like I'm glad Colleen O'Shaughnessy is able to play Tails, and I do wish there was less celebrity voices for these characters, but like Keanu was one that I was clamoring for from very early on, and then when I heard his voice in the trailer, I was like, okay, he's perfect.
Yeah.
Like the few lines he got in that trailer, it was just like that perfect blend of self-seriousness with just like a little bit of tongue-in-cheek, just that you're a colorful bunch. Just like, yes, that's Shadow.
He's got the persona down pretty bad. Shadow, Keanu can do edgy really well, and Shadow's an inherently very edgy character. It's literally, I mean, it's Sonic with a gun. I see James the Nerd in the chat. He's saying, I think Jack Black should have played everyone, and I am Sonic. I understand what you're referencing there, James. We're getting to that later. We are getting to that later. Don't you worry. I'm excited for this. I think it looks great. I think it's gonna be awesome. And if they do play Live and Learn, here's the thing. Maria gets shot, Live and Learn in the climax, 5 stars. I don't give a shit. 5 stars instantly. Listen, I understand that the Sonic movies, this is baby shit, but it's my baby shit.
There we go. Like, Live and Learn for this is like if they had played the Power Glove cover of the X-Men theme song in Deadpool and Wolverine. Like, that was my thing. Like, if they do this, then I'll give it 5 stars, but they didn't, so movie bad.
Movie bad. You can see it. We all hated it in our podcast. Everyone said it was awful. So you should go hate watch it right now.
There we go.
And I do agree with James here. I'm so happy Jim came out of retirement for it. We talked about that briefly. I just think it's like I said before, funny to think that Jim Carrey just was retired except for Sonic movies. Or it could be a contractual thing. But I'm inclined to believe he wanted to do it because it's Jim Carrey. Jim Carrey does what he wants.
Jim Carrey needed to see his role as Dr. Eggman through to the end so that Andy Kaufman's soul could be freed.
Okay, so speaking of him as Andy Kaufman, this isn't on. Have you ever seen that documentary Jim and Andy on Netflix?
I actually just watched it like a month or two ago.
Oh, really?
It's good.
That was in my I think top 10 in the year it came out. If not in my top 10, it was right outside it. It was easily my favorite documentary of that year.
I hadn't seen Man on the Moon until they played it at the Alamo earlier this year.
They played it at the Alamo and I missed it?
Yeah.
Well, that sucks. Buddy. Well, at least we're seeing Friday the 13th next week. I'm sorry, Jason X specifically next week. I am so excited for that, dude. I can't wait. I'm going to go. Yeah. Speaking of turning into a Tanimal, the hockey thing, I'm going to turn into a Tanimal when I see that on the big screen.
Tanimal's yogurt.
No, I love Jim and Andy, specifically because that very moment at the end where Jim Carrey says one thing that's basically is him saying, or maybe I wasn't in Lost deep in the character. Maybe I was also just joking about that. And it turns the whole documentary on its head, kind of. That's great. I guess we can move on. Do we have anything more to say about Sonic 3? Or are we going to move on to our next little thing?
Live and learn.
Well, speaking of living and learning, let me tell you, I'm not living or learning when it comes to this next franchise, as we got some of the first images of Jurassic World Rebirth, the next movie in the Jurassic Park franchise. Let me get this link open so we can take a better look at this, because it stars, first off, it's directed by Gareth Edwards, which I like Gareth Edwards. I still haven't seen the creator. Did you see the creator?
No. Looked interesting.
I thought it looked interesting. It's directed by him, and it stars Scarlett Johansson, Mahershala Ali, Jonathan Bailey, Rupert Friend. That's Harry Potter guy, isn't it?
Rupert Grint is
okay. I don't know. Gone. Well, I'm sorry to Rupert Friend, however the hell you say your name, for confusing you with someone else. Before we get into the thing, I just have to say this is Mahershala Ali's first movie that is going to come out in theaters since he won his second Oscar, like a wide release in theaters. Okay. Since he won his second Oscar. What is wrong with the industry, man? What an embarrassing failure and indictment of the industry.
Yeah.
The reason I say I'm ready to not live and learn is that, you know what? I saw these images, I saw the premise, and I went, I'm ready to be hurt again. Surely they won't burn me 4 times in a row, right? Surely this one will be good.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. This is probably, out of the articles you gave me, this is the one I have the least to say about, because I watched the original Jurassic Park trilogy and I watched the first Jurassic World, and that's I'm out.
Well, thankfully, you made a good call. They got worse after that, believe it or not. The world movies did.
So I've heard.
This one sounds interesting. So basically, they're backpedaling. There are dinosaurs everywhere thing. And the premise of this movie is that the dinosaurs are only surviving in one ecosystem, or in a couple ecosystems in the world. And in order to unlock this like thing that'll revolutionize the medical industry, the pharmaceutical industry, they have to extract this thing from dinosaurs. I think that's an interesting premise. Kind of because, like, I think the previous Jurassic movies, it's more the dinosaurs invading our world. Well, now this feels like the humans invading the dinosaur world. And with Gareth Edwards, listen, I like his Godzilla movie. I like Rogue One. Sue me.
Rogue One is Kino.
I like Rogue One a lot. I understand there are haters. And I do have issues with Rogue One, of course. And I like Monsters, the movie he made before Godzilla. And I still haven't seen The Creator, which is crazy. I forgot that The Creator was his first movie since Rogue One.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't have much to say, but I feel like the Jurassic Park movies, it has like a 50% success, or like out of the 6 Jurassic Park movies, Tim, 4 of them have grossed at least $1 billion worldwide. This is one of the biggest franchises in the world. I'd be like, it'd be movie news malpractice not to bring it up, at least.
That's fair. It is a very like funny franchise because the only one of those movies that like I've ever bothered to revisit at all is the first one. Like Jurassic Lost World is fine. 3 and World were okay, but like the original is just like this lightning in a bottle thing.
Yeah, no, for sure. Total lightning in a bottle. I get that. The first one's easily the best one.
Yeah.
By far. I think 2 is interesting. I think Jurassic World is interesting. The dinosaur loving kid in me got a rush out of the last movie when they finally had dinosaurs with feathers.
There we go.
I saw the feathers and I was like, yes, finally.
Scientifically accurate
waiting
dinosaurs.
For. So, I'm intrigued. It's gonna come out next year. It's coming out the same month as the new Superman movie and the same month as the new Fantastic Four movie. So one of these 3 movies is gonna bomb, and unfortunately, I feel like it's most likely gonna be Superman.
No, we gotta push that shit. It looks like it might be good, actually. We need to make it do well.
Yeah. We'll see. I guess we'll move on to the next.
The future of Hollywood depends on the future of Hollywood depends on Superman being good and doing well.
Well, I have confidence it's going to be good.
Yeah.
I don't have confidence in the movie going public. Speaking of things that I don't necessarily have confidence in their financial aspects, Megalopolis, the next potentially last Francis Ford Coppola movie, had a bit of a controversy earlier this month, or not earlier this month, it's September, last month, when they released the new trailer for it, in which It had fake AI generated quotes that were negative about his previous movies, which is bizarre considering I'm sure if they tried, they could have found negative quotes, especially about his Dracula movie. I mean, come on. That one is not hard to find people shitting on. Instead, the outside firm used AI generation to make those quotes. So they pulled the trailer, put it back up. The box office tracking just came out. It looks like it's going to bomb. It's tracking for a 5 million opening weekend, which would be a disaster for a movie that cost over $100 million. Not that I'm going to count it. Not that it matters. The movie also doesn't look that good. It doesn't have great reviews. And allegedly, Francis Ford Coppola did a lot of sexual harassment on set. So, Tim,
yeah,
this Megalopolis thing, let's get a temperature check on this. How are we feeling?
Well, first off, just the fact that they had to AI generate the quotes is ridiculous because, like, even if they couldn't find, like, actual bad reviews, would it have been that hard to just fucking write, yeah, it's a piece of shit?
Yeah, why couldn't they just make stuff up and attribute it to some name that doesn't exist?
Yeah, and beyond that, yeah, it's just this thing of everything you said. Like he did awful things on this set. He's done awful things outside of this set.
Which we are not going to get into because it might genuinely violate Twitch's terms of service.
Yeah. Just know he's not a great man, but Francis Ford Coppola, he made The Godfather and he made Apocalypse Now, which are obviously like very important movies. But it's just I don't know. This is one of those white man epic movies. It's the only kind of movie that Zack Snyder knows how to make. And it's just thing of just like it's probably not gonna be good, but goddamn it kind of looks cool. I am ashamed that I kind of want to watch it, even though I know it probably will not be bad.
I'm gonna be there. I'm gonna be there. I'm too curious. Too curious. Because if nothing else, it looks like another film. I'm going to just real quickly. This is the first movie I've seen in 15 years that looks like it is attempting the same cinematic language as Speed Racer.
There we go. Like I did watch the ultimate cut of Caligula earlier this year. So that helped satiate my my lust for white man epics. But I don't know. Still, I'm just.
It's funny you say that. Ethan in the chat is bringing up how he saw the trailer for it in front of Caligula when he saw it earlier this year.
Yeah.
Ethan, what did you think of that Caligula cut? I didn't see it.
It was interesting. Like, less graphic, a little bit, but still very graphic.
Was there any like actual literal porno in this cut?
It's hard to say with these terms of service you speak of. There were close-ups of things in orifices in the original.
Was it
less of that in this, but still showed a lot.
Shit.
What's up?
My TV started to play the music again that you saw me when you came into the call earlier. I had to turn it off. Okay, so was there unsimulated sex is what I'm asking. That does not violate the terms of service to just talk that vaguely.
I don't think so, but still very sexual. Still showed a lot more than what you would expect to see in a theater.
Okay. You're saying no. Ethan in the chat, I believe, if I'm understanding him correctly, is saying he thinks there was.
There may have been. It's hard to say for sure, but there was there's a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah, listen, I don't have time in my life right now to go watch the 3-hour sex movie.
That's fair.
Especially if I don't want to be publicly known as the guy that went to see the movie that most people know as the porno with Helen Mirren in it in public. Ethan is saying this thing sucks, so maybe I probably won't. I'm not a big fan of the actual Caligula I've seen either, so.
Caligula Caesar, not a great guy.
We're talking about Megalopolis, though.
Francis Ford Coppola, not a great guy.
He's not. Yeah, I'm too curious not to watch Megalopolis. I think it looks interesting. I think it will be a movie. For better or for worse, it's gonna have something to say. Whether or not it does a good job of accomplishing that,
yeah,
we'll see.
The main thing I want to see it in a theater for is that section where I guess they're just gonna have some theater employee talking to Adam Driver. That's too insane to not want to know what the hell that's about.
Yeah. I've been curious about that. The whole, because, people are saying that at the other screenings they've been to, someone is doing the breaking the fourth wall bit. Are they going to make some poor underpaid theater usher do that 7 times a day? I kind of have to see it for that alone.
Yeah. And I guess depending on the theater, some of these ushers might be more into it than others.
I bet if we saw it at the Alamo, there'd be enthused participants. If we saw this at Ronnie's, where most of their staff are high schoolers, it'll be, I have to do this stupid bullshit again.
Yeah.
We'll see.
I'd also have a lot more screens too. So
yeah, I'm intrigued. All the controversy doesn't look great, but I'm intrigued. I do just want to say I see everyone in the chat. I see a Mitch, and I see a James getting excited by Helen Mirren porn. I see you, and I love you. Thank you so much for joining this live edition of Jump Cuts. And speaking of big things that go big, like Megalopolis looks like it's going to be a big flop. Let's talk about something that's been a big boom, which is a couple weeks ago, as you were hoping for, Inside Out 2 has surpassed the shitty Lion King remake to become the highest grossing animated movie of all time. And
we did it. We made the highest grossing animated movie, a movie that's not afraid to admit it's animated.
Correct. But here, I loved Inside Out 2. I was a big fan of it. It is one of my favorite movies of the year. It's probably my favorite animated movie of the year so far. Ethan, I'm sorry. But isn't that crazy? The highest grossing animated movie ever is Inside Out 2. A great movie, but did not see that coming.
Yeah, I was eyeballing that Wikipedia article for a while, just because it was the Hux meme of just, I don't care if Inside Out 2 wins, I need the Lion King 2019 to lose. And just looking at that top 50 is kind of fucking dismal. A lot of the big ones are just that was okay, I guess. The good Lion King is at number 13.
Yeah, the list I imagine is a lot of Disney. James brings up a good point. Don't forget inflation. I'm sure adjusted for inflation, somehow Gone with the Wind is the highest grossing animated movie ever, which doesn't make any sense. But when you adjust for inflation, I'm sorry. Ethan said, look up Inside Out 2 inflation for more information. I'm not falling for that.
Oh no.
I'm not falling for that. I loved Inside Out 2. Have you seen Inside Out 2?
I have not.
Okay. Did you like the first one?
I liked the first one a lot. The trailers for the second one just didn't intrigue me.
The trailers were bad. The second one is also great. You'll like it. It's on Disney Plus by now, I'm sure. Or not by now. It will be soon. Check it out if you have a chance. I really liked Inside Out too. I guess I more just wanted to have something of us officially saying, because we talked about this in our Lion King episode.
Yeah.
How happy we are to see a movie that is unapologetically animated to be the highest grossing animated movie ever.
And then it's going to get dethroned by Mufasa, and I hate to see it.
Oh, I don't think Mufasa is going to make more than the last line. I do think it's going to make $1 billion. Sorry. I think we talked about this in the Lion King episode, but it's so fucking insane that they're retconning Mufasa to be adopted. Because now
we didn't
I'm like,
talk about that,
Scar was justified.
Right. No, like I didn't know like the actual premise until I saw the trailer in front of like Twisters or something, and I was thinking like, okay, I mean, I don't like any of these like photoreal CGI Lion King movies, but at least this is a new story. And then I saw that trailer and I was like, no, this is worse. Like literally it completely ruins their character dynamic. What the fuck?
James the Nerd is asking in the chat, does Jon Favreau have anything to do with the new one? No, this movie is being directed, and Mitch in the chat bring this up, is being directed by the director of the 2017 winner for Best Picture, Moonlight, Barry Jenkins, which is big. Man, he must have had a boat he wanted to buy, energy. Yeah. I do agree with Mitch, though. The fact that it is directed by him and that this is his first movie since If Beale Street Could Talk makes me ever so slightly intrigued. I won't lie. I am ever so slightly intrigued. And the fact that I'm probably going to get dragged to it by my family on Christmas, I hope it's good.
There was a meme that Cody sent me that was just like a prayer circle full of the kids who wanted to go see Sonic 3 at Christmas but got outvoted by their family and had to see Mufasa instead.
Yeah. But who knows? Maybe it'll be okay. I mean, it doesn't like visually look good and the plot doesn't seem appealing. But maybe it'll have good music. Is this even a musical?
I don't know.
Is this... They're not advertising it as a musical in the trailer, so is it even that? You know, I will give it this. The facial animation, it looks more expressive. It does look more expressive. It doesn't hold a candle to the 90s Lion King, obviously, but it does look slightly more expressive.
Fair enough.
But you know what else is expressive, Tim?
What's that?
Daniel Craig's portrayal of Benoit Blanc in the Knives Out movies, which is great because the next piece of news on our docket is that Knives Out 3 just wrapped filming.
Wake Up, Dead Man.
Yeah, Wake Up, Dead Man. Remind me, what is that? So obviously Knives Out was a song reference, I think. Glass Onion's obviously a Beatles reference. Isn't Wake Up, Dead Man a reference to another song?
Probably. I didn't look into it, to be honest, but I wouldn't.
Fine, I'll Google it. It's a U2 song. Okay. We're both massive fans of the first two Knives Out movies.
They're both very good movies. I just picked up the first one on Blu-ray at Barnes and Noble a few weeks ago.
I would buy the new one on Blu-ray if I could, because I already own the first one on Blu-ray. But unfortunately, Netflix is an affront to God.
Yeah. God. And, like, Glass Onion's such a funny case, because, like, when we did the podcast, I had only seen it, like, the 3 times. And, like, at that time, I was saying, like, I like it a lot. I don't know if I'd say I like it as much as the first one. But then I watched it high, and let me tell you, the jokes hit harder. It's an even better time.
I bet.
Both great movies, but I think I might have joined the Glass Onion as better train, which none of my family seemed to be on when I was on vacation.
Well, I feel like Glass Onion is somehow even more obviously shitting on the right wing, which is incredible because the first one's also obvious. But the first one has like the liberal versus the Republicans. thing. So,
I don't even think it was a political issue. It was more just like they just didn't think it was very good. But
yeah,
I love them both, and I'm excited for this one.
I've been trying to convince you for a year now to let me officiate your wedding, doing my Benoit Blanc impression. And I think I've made a lot of good progress in that regard.
Let's go.
See, so you're on board with it. So what I'm hearing is I just need to convince your fiance.
We'll see.
He's telling me there's a chance. If you want to see my Benoit Blanc impression, watch our Glass Onion episode. I'm really proud of that.
And then watch every movie night after that.
Are you talking about the fact that I like...
I
always keep the accent.
You did the Bomb Squad movie night every single episode after that until we switched to matinee.
Not intentionally, I'll have you know. You pointed that out to me at some point.
The spirit of Benoit Blanc just took over.
He was within me. You know, he was within me. He was transforming me into something I was not before. Something that many love, but some would call an abomination. And you want to know what else is a goddamn abomination?
I think I know.
A movie trailer came out this past week for a movie called, which is fucking insane, it's called A Minecraft Movie, which before we even get into the trailer, fuck off with that title.
Yeah. I didn't even realize that. Fuck.
Yeah, what the hell? The Minecraft movie trailer came out, and I believe I was the first one to send it in the group chat. And I think the message I sent describes it perfectly. Looks like shit with the thumbs up emoji.
Yeah.
Like I will be watching it in theaters though because I'm too curious not to.
That's fair. Like I'm at an age where like when Minecraft came out, I was either like junior or senior in high school or like freshman in college. Like I was not at the age group who was playing Minecraft really. Like it looks like a fun enough game series. Like if I'd been the right age for it when it came out, just we never really crossed paths. But I know you and a lot of other people your age and like the other people in the Bomb Squad group grew up with the games and so have more affection for it. So I can see how a Minecraft movie in concept would be appealing. But yeah, dear God, I watched that trailer on Twitter with no audio and I've seen enough.
I watched the trailer when it came out. I watched the trailer again today just to refresh myself in anticipation for tonight. James the Nerd is in the chat saying he likes the art style. James, I love you. You're one of my best friends. I gotta disagree. I do not like the like realistic-ish. Here's the thing. Here's the fucking thing.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's get into this. All right. Here's the goddamn thing. Why are we taking a game series known for its arguably simple graphical fidelity style in its pixely-ish art style, blocky? Why are we, one, making that look realistic, and two, making it live action?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, the live action hybrid shit just feels extremely out of place, and I think the Uncanny Valley ass looking animation just looks gross and like why couldn't it be like the Lego movie? Why couldn't it have tried to emulate what the games look like?
Because we already have, Ethan brings up a great point in the chat, Telltale did Minecraft story mode. We know what a narrative focused Minecraft thing could look like. Minecraft story mode is really popular. From what I understand, it's good.
Oh.
And Mitch, I did not see that trailer where the humans walk into the world and they become Minecraft trailers, but I can tell you that's way more interesting. The live action thing, it just doesn't look good. I don't think this art style was meant to look realistic. And if you're gonna make it realistic, why make the animals still have like the square heads? That looks fucking weird. Mitch also brought up another good point earlier, though. This is the guy that directed Nacho Libre, Napoleon Dynamite, and Gentleman Broncos.
Oh, it's him.
It's Jared Hess. I fucking love Nacho Libre, obviously. So maybe there's something here. And the crazy art style could be interesting because of what Jared Hess does. I don't know. It looks bad. It looks unpleasant to look at.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like it's very, very uncanny valley.
It is unpleasant to look at. I don't like looking at it. I will say though, I kind of like Jason Momoa's fit. I kind of dig the wig. I think Jason Momoa is a fun actor. And Jack Black, I guess we don't like Jack Black anymore.
I don't think he's irredeemable, but he did a bad thing.
Yeah. I refuse to believe that he actually threw away a lifelong friendship over it. I imagine that behind the scenes there was probably more communication there. But who knows? Maybe he's just Chris Pratt now.
Yeah.
I want to believe because everyone for my whole life has positively compared me to Jack Black. Tim, this is all I have. They can't take this from me. This is all I have.
You just have to fork over to Stephen Root territory. There we go.
It's funny. Because imagine like being like Jack Black. Because imagine if they did throw their friendship away, and according to Mitch in the chat, he did not. But if Jack Black did throw that friendship away, imagine throwing your friendship away for whatever the fuck that shit is.
Yeah.
I would respect it more if there was like Kung Fu Panda 5 announced, and he was doing this for the 5th Kung Fu Panda movie. I'd respect that more than for this bullshit.
I'd respect the Mario movie 2 more, and I have soured pretty hard on that first Mario movie.
I don't love it. I rewatched it. I think I rewatched clips on YouTube. I don't think I watched the movie again proper since it was in theaters. I don't think I stand by the 4 stars. It's still a mostly pleasant movie to watch. It's not irritating.
Yeah. It's like a fun enough time in the moment, but like it is possibly even more jingly keys than Deadpool and Wolverine.
Oh, yeah, 100%. I'm pretty sure that podcast we recorded afterwards, most of me discussing the movie positively is me saying, I recognize this thing from the video game.
Yeah.
And also I like Seth Rogen as Donkey Kong. That was kind of funny. I'm not going to lie. Charlie Day's Luigi. That was great. I want the Luigi Mansion spinoff.
Charlie Day in anything. I love that man.
I want someone to animate It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia with Luigi as the Charlie Day character, like saying racist things.
There we go.
Mitch is telling me that apparently at the Borderlands premiere, which you want to talk about bad video game movies. Oh my God. Borderlands premiere, he said Tenacious D will be back. So, Mitch, I would love it if you could send me like a link to that on Twitter or Facebook or Instagram, wherever we're following each other. Just so I can see that myself. But that is reassuring to know that Jack Black is saying Tenacious D will be back. Yeah. And he didn't completely throw that friendship away because fucking nobody deserves to have friendship thrown away over the Minecraft movie.
On his birthday, too.
Yeah, nobody deserves that. Nobody, too, has started filming. We're both pretty big fans. Hey, that might have been my best one yet. Mitch did send me a link, so I can send you that link too, Tim, if you're interested. Nobody 2 has started filming.
Yeah.
We both liked the first Nobody. That movie fucking rocked.
Yeah, like, I remember after I saw it thinking, like, there's this thing with a lot of, like, recent action movies where the immediate comparison is John Wick, and in a lot of cases, it feels a little reductive. This is a
Nobody
John
was
Wick
accurate.
clone. Yeah, Nobody and The Beekeeper are John Wick clones 100%, but I think Nobody is very good still, and, like, I actually might like Nobody better than the first John Wick movie. I think John Wick Chapter 4 is one of the best action movies maybe ever made, certainly of
John
the
Wick 4
21st
is
century.
fucking perfect.
So I don't know if any Nobody movie can surpass that, but I'm here for whatever they got. First one was a great time.
I agree. Nobody's a knockoff. I think that won Best Action Movie at our first annual Bomb Squad Awards, which hopefully will be back next year, by the way. Yeah, sorry we dropped the ball on it this year.
Yeah, I think it just edged out the Suicide Squad, but both
I believe that, and boy, I love it when something edges the Suicide Squad. So anyway, I haven't seen The Beekeeper, but I have heard that's a John Wick knockoff. I'm very excited for Nobody Part 2. James the Nerd is in the chat asking Christopher Lloyd better be back. I am like 90% sure he will be back. I think that's been confirmed, which great. He was one of the best parts of the first movie. But I think the bestest part of the first movie for me was Bob Odenkirk. Because first off, from what I understand, the shape he put himself in to be in that movie saved his life.
There we go. That's how we got Better Call Saul season 6.
Which, thank God, it would have been tragic if we lost Bob Odenkirk. I'm excited to see Nobody 2. I just wanted to get it out there because we haven't really had a chance to talk Nobody more. It's a John Wick clone. It is maybe the most obvious of the John Wick clones.
Yeah.
But it's a pretty great John Wick clone. That bus fight is... Sometimes I'll just look up Nobody bus fight on YouTube and just be like, this is the life.
The line read of "I'm gonna fuck you up" is perfect.
And Nobody, I don't know if the same director's returning. Have you seen the director's other feature?
I don't know.
Okay. Have you seen Hardcore Henry?
Oh, yes, I have seen Hardcore Henry. I liked it.
You know what? That is something we should do a commentary track on. Hardcore Henry.
Yeah, there we go.
I saw that shit in theaters and my friend got motion sickness, which was very funny.
That is 100% understandable.
No, understandable, but funny.
Yeah.
And James the Nerd is asking a great question in the chat, but of all the actors to do a John Wick clone, did I ever think they would put Bob Odenkirk in that? No. I never imagined Bob Odenkirk as an action man. For most of his career, he was purely a comedic actor. And then Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul showed him he had this great dramatic gravitas to him as well.
Yeah.
Action badass? Holy shit, what can this guy not do?
Yeah, it's very much, I didn't ask for this, but damn is it refreshing.
And Bob Odenkirk's one of my favorite actors. I really think he could do anything. I've had this idea for a movie for a couple of years that I'm never going to be able to make. Because I just don't have the resources for it. Where Bob Odenkirk would play Walt Disney when his animators went on strike to try and unionize. Which I don't know a lot about. My description of that story might be wrong. Ethan will be in the chat to correct me. If I am, I'm sure. But because I think Bob Odenkirk 1 kind of already looks a little like Walt Disney.
And
2 would be great in the role.
I feel like he may have at some point played Walt Disney on an episode of Drunk History. I don't know.
Maybe. I see him because especially if you look at like later period Walt compared to Bob Odenkirk, you're like, I could see it. Put that little like mustache on him on Odenkirk. Oh, dude, we're home cooking.
Yeah.
No, Walt was that combo of pathetic and domineering. Okay. Yes. When he said Walt, I thought he was talking about Breaking Bad Walt, and then I remembered, oh no, wait, that's right, he's talking about Walt Disney.
Walter.
Ethan's backing me up on this. Thank you, Ethan. I think I've told you about this idea before, about how I think Bob Odenkirk would be perfect in the part, especially for that specific period of Walt's life, which, from what I understand, from what Ethan has told me, it's not even necessarily that Walt was upset because they tried to get, like, their rights as workers. Walt was somewhat upset purely coming from the perspective of, well, I thought I did right by these guys. Which is the typical capitalist boss line. But from what Ethan has told me, I keep saying his name so I can blame him if I get any of this wrong. He seemed genuine, being like, oh, I thought I did right by these guys. I feel betrayed because of that.
Yeah.
And I think Odenkirk could nail that perfectly. And I'm glad we're getting a Nobody 2 because Odenkirk's a great actor. And speaking of sequels, I think I'm happy to be getting Happy Gilmore 2 is happening. Benny Safdie's going to be in it. Travis Kelce's going to be in it. Tim, Happy Gilmore 2. How we feeling on that one, man?
So I've somehow managed to bring this up on 2 episodes recently. It came up on the Inglourious Bastards episode and the Office Space episode, and I'm not super hopeful about it. Like, I'll wait and see the trailer. Like, I just kind of pictured the idea of a Happy Gilmore 2 that just kind of goes in the same filing cabinet as, like, Bad Santa 2. And
that exists?
That barely. It has Kathy Bates, inexplicably. It looks bad. I didn't see the fucking movie because it looked like dog shit.
Okay.
But I don't know. Maybe it'll be good. I like Benny Safdie. I like the Safdies, so the fact that he's involved will be interesting. I remember when it was announced, I initially had the thought of, yeah, it's just not going to be the same without Carl Weathers being alive. And then I remember, oh wait, he died in the movie, so that's fine.
You son of a bitch! It was your fault! You motherfucker, you killed Carl. I'm gonna say it. I'm an optimistic person. I'm excited. I like Happy Gilmore as a character. I think James the Nerd brings up an excellent point in the chat. The only thing that would make him happy is they have the Drew Carey cameo. Because that would be funny, especially if Drew Carey goes, well, the price is wrong, bitch.
Yeah, there we go.
Because, you know, Bob Barker and Happy Gilmore, that's on, like, the Mount Rushmore of celebrity cameos in comedy movies.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and I feel like that kind of started that trend of, like, celebrities cameoing themselves, but they play, like, they're assholes in the movie. I feel like Bob Barker was one of the first examples of that.
Probably. Yeah, that's an incredible bit in that movie. And yeah, Drew Carey, I think, would be a fun... Because he was also a comedian and comedy actor before he got the Price is Right gig. So I think he could easily show off his comedic acting chops in the movie.
Yeah. Listen, Happy Gilmore 2, I put that on there because we needed movie news. And I thought, you know, Happy Gilmore, that first movie, it's kind of like a oddly wholesome movie. It's obviously a comedy, has a bit of a mean streak, but it's also fairly wholesome like a lot of Adam Sandler movies are. And Adam Sandler, you know, is one of the many great actors that SNL has gifted us in the years. But perhaps the best actor SNL has ever given us is Will Ferrell. And speaking of Will Ferrell, we had a trailer for a documentary called Will and Harper drop this week about Will Ferrell's best friend of 20 years coming out as a trans woman to him, and Will Ferrell being like, well, you want to do a road trip across America? Tim, I made you watch all these trailers and you told me you watch these trailers, but I'm going to start with this one. I think it's always a good sign for a movie if the trailer makes me sob.
Yeah.
And boy, did this trailer make me cry. You're not really a big emotional crying person though, Tim. So I'm really curious to see like what did you, are you excited for this? Are you looking forward to this? Are you going to see it in theaters? Because it's playing at the Alamo like I think next weekend.
I don't know
Maybe
if I'll have
after
time
weekend
to see it
after?
next weekend, but yeah, I hadn't heard about this one until I saw it on the little like Google Doc, but yeah, seeing the trailer, like it looks good. Looks like it'll be funny, emotionally, have some emotional weight to it. It looks like it'll be a good time.
Ethan confirmed it's coming out in a week, so it is out this weekend. So I would only have time to see it Saturday night if I saw it this weekend because it's only playing for 3 nights at the Alamo. I'm excited for this, and I think for a lot of the right-wing chud types, maybe not the chud types, but maybe people that are like ignorant. And what Mitch is saying in the chat is correct. Hopefully it'll help the world with acceptance of the trans community. I think a figure like Will Ferrell, just showing the normalcy of it, just showing like, hey, this is still my best friend.
Yeah.
I think could help. I'm hopeful. It obviously neither you and I are trans, so who knows what our opinions are really worth in that regard.
Yeah, that's the reason why we haven't done an episode on I Saw the TV Glow, because we all love it, but we're just not the people to talk about it.
Yeah, like I would need to find a trans person to come on the show, even though, and I saw a really great tweet earlier this week about I Saw the TV Glow, how that movie can still apply about just not necessarily rejection of your gender, but just rejection of something of your personhood that can still be relatable. And I think that is true if I Saw the TV Glow, and that speaks to how incredible of a movie it is. It is my favorite movie of the year for a reason. It's not really our place to talk because we don't really are in that life. That's not really the life we live. We're not that person. That's not who we are. That's not where we're at.
But just know, movie good.
It's good. It looks great. I'm going to try and see it next weekend. I'm excited. And if I can't catch it in theaters, it's going to be on Netflix in October. So I'm definitely going to check it out. But again, don't want to elaborate on it too much because that's just not where we are in life. But where we are physically in space is St. Louis, Missouri, which is great because another person from St. Louis, Missouri, Nikki Glaser, actually more specifically, she went to my high school, Kirkwood High School, has been announced as the next host of the Golden Globes. And Tim, I know you do not give a shit. You do not watch award shows except when I make you watch the Oscars every year. But let me tell you something. I watched the Golden Globes last year. It was a goddamn disaster. I'm sure you heard about that. Nikki Glaser is one of the hottest comedians in the world right now. I'm very excited for this. Tim?
Yeah, Joe Coy was the Golden Globes host last year, right?
Yes, and he threw the writers under the bus. Oh god, it was a whole thing.
Yeah, but I do like Nikki Glaser, so that is exciting. Like, I think I've always thought she was funny. I didn't even realize she was from St. Louis until a couple of years ago. One of the podcasts I edit for work had her on as a guest, which was cool. And yeah, I like Nikki Glaser, so always happy to see that she's doing more stuff, and certainly happy that an actually funny comedian is hosting the Golden Globes. Maybe we can get the Oscars one of these years. Fuck off, Jimmy Kimmel.
Hey,
just fuck off.
I agree. However, the Jimmy Kimmel Oscars was less of a train wreck than the three-headed monster they hosted a few years ago. Remember that shit? Oh god.
Oof.
That was the Will Smith Oscar slap year. Remember when I was on my computer trying to figure out if that actually happened?
Yeah, I remember the internet broke after it happened because everyone was just like, wait, what?
Also, just want to say real quickly, shout out to Jason Secord in the chat. It's one of our biggest fans right there. I can see he's commenting to our Twitch stream for the first time. Thank you for tuning in, Jason. We appreciate you. Yeah, I'm super pumped. I watch these award shows. To the audience back home, you might not know this. I make a whole thing of predicting the Oscars every year. I usually get around a 70 to 60% hit rate. Except a couple of years ago, the Will Smith Oscar slap year, which was my first year predicting, I got like 21 out of 24 or something insane like that. I like predicting the Oscars. I think it's fun. Tim, you weren't at my party this year, were you?
Nah, I had a thing.
Do you go to Marcus for them, for the award shows? I usually watch them at home, with the exception of my Oscars party. I host a big Oscars party every year, and this next year I'm hoping to be bigger than ever. I'm excited for that. Yeah, it's looks great. It's always a great time, you know, coming home late at night, usually just turning on the Golden Globes. That's usually the fun one because the actors are like drinking a lot of alcohol. Yeah. So sometimes some silly stuff happens. If you remember, I remember the year the Disaster Artist won for Best Adapted Screenplay, and you know, James Franco and the other writer goes up there to accept the award, and then he has to pretend that he invited Tommy Wiseau out there because even though Tommy Wiseau was at the back of the room, he also got up when they announced that the Disaster Artist won. So he was fucking walking towards the stage.
Yeah, you just let Tommy have his moment. It's the only time he's ever going to be able to get up on that stage.
He deserved it. Because, you know, he's an alien. He's like a creature of the night. And I love to see him have his moment because you and I both love The Room. We've seen it in the theaters a bunch. You and I both met Tommy like 5 years ago now. We met Greg last year. That was great. And it was a lot of fun. Even if Tommy Wiseau is a creature of the night. But speaking of creatures of the night, my most anticipated movie for the rest of the year, its first trailer finally fucking dropped this week. It's directed by Marielle Heller, the director of like either my favorite or second favorite movie of 2019, depending on what day you ask me. A Beautiful Name in the Neighborhood. He also wrote Diary of a Teenage Girl, I believe is what it's called. And she also directed Can You Ever Forgive Me, that Melissa McCarthy movie. Nightbitch. Tim, a lot of people on Twitter were hating this trailer. I was, of course, excited because I think the tonal weirdness is kind of part of the point. But Tim, what did you think of this trailer?
So this had a similar effect for me as when Licorice Pizza was coming out, where I just kept seeing people on social media talking about this movie, and I had no idea what the hell it was, and I would just see that 2-word title and think, those are just words. That doesn't mean anything. What does this mean? After seeing the trailer for Nightbitch, obviously I understand why it's called that. Yeah, I had never heard about it. I'd heard about it, but I had no idea what it was until I saw the trailer, and like it looks interesting. I don't have a whole lot to say about it, but like yeah, it could be good. I like Amy Adams, so I'm down, I guess.
Yeah, I trust the director. I'm excited for it. The book is apparently pretty good. I haven't found a lot of reviews for the book, but the one person I know who has read it said they really like it. Jason Secord's in the chat saying total weirdness is usually a good sign. I think I agree. I think it's a sign that they don't know how to market the movie, which means it's unique, if nothing else.
Yeah.
If the marketing department can't figure that out, that usually means at least something interesting is happening.
Yeah, that was another thing I was gonna say. Like the name Nightbitch, knowing nothing about the movie before I knew what it was, I was just like, is this the next neon horror picture? It just sounded like it could be another one of those. But yeah, lady turned into a dog.
Yeah, it's because of the talent behind it. I love Amy Adams. I love the director. Marielle Heller is one of my favorite directors in the scene right now. So that's why it's my most anticipated movie of the year. Mitch is in the chat saying, what I'm willing to bet might be your most anticipated movie for the rest of the year. Nosferatu is his. And even though I didn't put it in the notes, we can talk about that real quick. The Nosferatu trailer looks fucking awesome.
Oh, yeah. And, you know, It's fucking Robert Eggers, of course. I'm gonna be there opening night. Loved The Witch, loved The Lighthouse, loved The Northman. I'm sure I will love Nosferatu.
Yeah, out of that, like those crop of directors that came out around 2016, 2018, the horror ones, between Eggers and Astor, I think I like Eggers a lot more.
That's fair. I think I admire Astor's weirdness a little bit more, but I love both. They're both very neck and neck.
The Lighthouse
Also,
is getting an IMAX release later this year. So full disclosure,
fucking go.
I haven't seen the Lighthouse yet. I'm gonna wait for that. I'm gonna wait for that now because I have not seen the Lighthouse yet, and that sounds like an ideal way to watch it.
I still haven't seen it since the theatrical release, but yeah, I really like that movie, and I'll probably be there for that too. Also, just back to Astor, I'm very excited to see what the fuck he does with Yorgos Lanthimos and Don Hertzfeldt. God, that's gonna be some insane art.
Astor and Eggers are both mainstream art house directors. That's a fair way of putting it.
Yeah.
I think Eggers leans slightly more on the mainstream than Astor does, but they're still both mostly art house people.
Yeah.
Man, I wish Beau's Afraid worked for me more. I'm a big Northman fan. Mitch, you can check out our podcast on the Northman that features another Twitter person I believe you follow, Sydney Volpe. She was on our episode on the Northman. It was a great episode. We also had my friend Josh on that episode.
That was the episode that introduced general discussion.
Oh yeah, that's right, because Austin couldn't think of another couple of questions. And then we all went, wait, this is great.
Yeah.
Was it Austin or was it... No, it was Austin. Austin hosted that, right?
Yeah, Austin hosted that one.
Mitch, if you want to come up the emulator, you're welcome on. Yeah. Sorry, we got it off track. I'm really excited for Nightbitch. I think it looks great.
Yeah.
I think it looks awesome. I'm excited for it. It's gonna be a great movie, I'm sure. And all the film Twitter haters can die. Because like a bunch of these fucking nerds are like, oh boo 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 boo. I can't fucking see her winning an Oscar. Who gives a shit? Is the movie gonna be good?
Yeah. The Oscars
Mitch brought this. Sorry, go ahead.
Meaningless.
The Oscars are whatever. I like predicting them, but that's like a fun thing. I don't put that much stock in them. I think it's cool when movies I like win Oscars, obviously. Like, remember when Parasite won, and I believe you were at my apartment, you were recording because you thought I could cry depending on what movie it was. But then when it was the Parasite, we all went like ape shit.
Yeah, I was like, I was gonna record because if Marriage Story won, you were gonna cry out of joy, and if Joker won, you were gonna cry out of sadness. But then Parasite won, and we did not see that coming, and it was the happiest we were for a long time.
Which, in hindsight, it's so stupid we didn't see that coming. It won screenplay and director.
Yeah.
I don't know if any movie has won both and not one picture. Still though. Mitch brings this up in the chat. The Wolfman trailer came out recently. I haven't seen it.
I have only seen like the little promotional bits. I haven't seen like the actual trailer. So I'm kind of mostly in the dark. So I don't know.
From what I understand, it's Lee Winnell taking a classic Universal monster and putting a new spin on it, where the monster is basically the main character's husband being a domestic abuser. And you may think, Tanner, isn't that just the Invisible Man? Yes, but from what I understand, I guess that's what Lee Winnell is doing here too, which, fair, that's an interesting angle still. And maybe there's another twist to it. Mitch is talking about the design. I saw the design in the like Halloween Universal Horror Nights thing. He kind of just looks like a zombie more than a wolf man. He doesn't have like a snout.
Well, that's the thing that like my friend Mondo was saying too, is like that's probably not like the final form. because it doesn't. If that's the final form, then yeah, it's probably bad. But there's probably more to it than what we're seeing.
Yeah, we'll see. It's coming out in January, so that should be interesting.
Yeah.
And speaking of things being interesting, Ridley Scott, interesting director. He has Gladiator 2 coming out this year, which I think looks great. But he apparently has another movie in the works, which is and we're going to end with this piece of news because this is just fucking hilariously absurd to me for some reason. The Bee Gees biopic is in development with Ridley Scott set to direct. What? It's going to be called... Yeah. It's going to be called You Should Be Dancing. Sure. I'm going to be honest. I'm real hit with miss with these like music biopics. Elvis was great, obviously. Rocket Man put a fun spin on it. Bohemian Rhapsody was whatever. Most music biopics are whatever. They're all just walk hard now, which is what they were before. They just didn't learn their lesson from the parody. Tim, you like 70s and 80s music. What do you think of this?
Well, hopefully it's not a tragedy. But yeah, I don't know.
He only came onto the show so he could do this bit.
Yeah. I haven't listened to that much Bee Gees. Like I've heard Tragedy, I've heard Staying Alive, obviously. I mostly like Ridley Scott's things that I've seen. Like I fucking adore Alien and Blade Runner. I still need to see The Last Duel. I have heard only great things. So I will watch that.
Come on, man. Watch The Last Duel. What are you doing, man? That's like so up your alley too.
I did want to see it when it was in theater, but just didn't get around to it.
And then it left theaters because it bombed so bad. I saw that shit in theaters. You fucking loser.
Well, cool.
I'm sorry. That was rude. Speaking of... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say, yeah, Ridley Scott, I tend to enjoy the things he makes. He's a strange man. But I tend to like his movies, so maybe I'll like it. I also am not big on music biopics. I did enjoy Elvis when I finally got around to watching it, which was well after you guys did the podcast on it. I mostly don't really care. I wanted to see Bohemian Rhapsody, but then learned that it was trash, so I didn't.
I mean, I'll be honest, I kind of like Bohemian Rhapsody, but I think that's mostly because I bought into Rami Malek's performance, which was a good performance.
That is fair. I do like Rami Malek.
That was good, and I like Ridley Scott. I like the Bee Gees. I like Ridley Scott despite the fact that I guess we're going to get into this now, the abomination that ruined Alien Romulus a bit for me, the fucking digital necromancy of Ian Holm. Spoiler alert if you haven't seen Romulus, I'm sorry. The digital necromancy of that actor was apparently his idea.
Yeah.
Big Mitch brings up a great point. It's a tragedy that Taron Egerton not only didn't win the best acting Oscar for Rocket Man, wasn't even fucking nominated. Rocket Man's incredible. Have you seen Rocket Man?
Haven't seen that yet, but again, I've heard it's very good.
What am I paying you for?
You're not paying me.
Where's all this money go? Oh, I do actually. I meant to send you money Friday.
Let's fucking go.
I meant to send you like $25. I'll send you $25 after this. I owe Tim like $100. I owe Tim like $100. Whoops.
Whoopsie.
Yeah. The idea of a Bee Gees biopic. Do we really care about the Bee Gees that much? Do they have like some mythical story associated with them?
I don't know. We'll find out in the biopic, I guess.
Who gives a shit about the Bee Gees? Staying Alive is a good song. I'm going to be honest with you. I can't name another Bee Gees song.
Tragedy.
Okay, I can name 2 Bee Gees songs.
Those were the 2 that I hate.
Like, obviously the Bee Gees were big in their heyday, but has like the catalog of music really survived? The Bee Gees movie, first movie to make negative $10 at the box office.
Let's go.
Maybe Ridley Scott likes the Beatles, says Jason Secord. The Bee Gees. Yeah, Ridley Scott could be a big Bee Gees guy. Who knows? And if so, good for him. He's like 83. He can do whatever he wants. If you make Alien, Blade Runner, and Gladiator, I let you do whatever the hell you want.
Yeah.
Well, Tim, that's the end of my listed news. So I will briefly turn us to the chat. Chat, is there anything you'd like to hear us talk about before we end our show tonight?
Let's hear it.
Because this is a live show. I see Mitch naming songs. Thelma and Louise is another great Ridley Scott movie. Jason Secord brings that up.
Oh,
that's
I
a
didn't
great
realize
point.
that
movie's also fantastic.
I didn't realize
that was Ridley Scott. That was Ridley Scott. That's a great movie.
Yeah.
Great movie. Yeah, I guess I could into this is my first time doing this show, but I like the idea of turning it to the chat for a quick little, what do you want to hear us talk about before I end the show?
Yeah.
Maybe I will do minimal editing to do this. Transformers 1, I agree. Does look good, Mitch. I am excited for Transformers.
I might watch it. Probably not in theaters, but maybe I'll stream it. I don't know.
I've seen the last 4 Transformers movies in theaters. Well, 3. Bumblebee. Okay. Yeah, I'm sorry, 2. Bumblebee and the last one that came out last year.
Yeah. I saw the Beast Wars one in theaters. I saw Bumblebee on DVD.
Beast Wars, listen, that was so funny when they revealed that they're doing the G.I. Joe thing at the end. Remember that? That shit was funny.
I love the Universal Dark Universe.
I just love Anthony Ramos turning the card over and going like, G.I. Joe. Good bit.
The Hasbro toy universe.
Yeah, I'm intrigued by Transformers 1. Should I catch up on the Transformers franchise? No. If you mean the
You'll
movies,
be happier.
No. I like the first one. I like the third one, Dark of the Moon, and Bumblebee is obviously great. And I like the Beast Wars one that came out last year. But the other like 3 Michael Bay ones. And from what I understand, this one's like a prequel. This is like before they were the Transformers. This one seems like actually a good place to start if you're trying to get into Transformers.
Yeah, and it's also like a fully animated one. Is it even like canon to the like Bayformers world?
Who gives a shit?
Or is it just that's fair? That's fair.
Why are you asking me that? Why would I care about that? I'm insulted that you would ask me. No, Jason Secord, you do not need to catch up on the Transformers franchise. The upcoming Transformers 1 seems like a great place to jump in.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, if chat doesn't have anything for me, we've been streaming for about an hour and 20. I think we can wrap up this first edition of Jump Cuts. Tim, thank you so much for joining me today. Audience, thank you so much for watching. I was watching the chat. It looked like we were perpetually getting around between 3 and 6 people, which for us is great.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for tuning in, guys. I'm hoping to do this every other weekend. So the next episode won't be next weekend. As of right now, my current plan is that it will be on September 22nd at 8 p.m. So if you want to tune into next week's next show, put that in your calendar, September 22nd at 8 p.m. Tim might be with me. It might be someone else. Every episode will at least have me, and I'll have a rotating cast of guest hosts. If you're watching us live, thank you so much. We really appreciate it. This is our second type of show we've relaunched. Yeah, we technically had Matinee and Movie Night, but this is a truly different show. And I'd say it was a great success. So thank you so much for tuning in live. If you're listening on Monday morning, Thank you for listening. Thank you for starting your week with us. If you're listening, mosey on down, leave a review or something. Go to our Patreon, throw some money our way. If you join the $5 tier, we'll have some commentary tracks. Tim and I, along with Austin, is recording a commentary track tomorrow, so you'll probably see that one sometime this week. And if you go to the $10 tier, you can get a shout out on the Matinee podcast, but you know what? We'll shout you out on this podcast too. He's been in the chat all night. Mr. Jason Secord is one of our $10 patrons. Thank you so much, Jason. Jason has some like great writing. You can find his Twitter. I believe it's just at Jason Secord. He has some great writing. He has some really interesting and analytical stuff himself. And it's always a treat to see him in our comment section. And also Tanya Kraft, my mother, is another one of our $10 patrons. Thank you for the financial contribution you give us. And if you're watching this show on the VOD on YouTube, we hope you like jump cuts. We can't wait to see you in a couple weeks when we do the next episode. Thank you guys so much for watching. We're going to see you next time. Bye.
Farewell.
Slid my ticket across the table and I said, sorry guys, I gotta see about a girl.